welcome to my adult coloring channel. This tutorial is going to be a part 2 of a color along tutorial working in the World of Flowers book by Johanna Basford. I'm going to color the skeleton page from this book, and I would like you guys to grab your coloring book and color along with me. First, remember that it is important that if you like this kind of tutorial to give it a thumbs up so that I know what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. If you want to see more dark coloring videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribing really helps in supporting my channel and gives me the ability to be able to grow my channel. Last but not least, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload more adult coloring videos. Now let's have some fun and get into this tutorial / color along. So we're going to be working in World of Flowers, and we have already started part 1 of our color along with the skeleton. And let me just go to that page. And so this is what we've done so far. So far we've done a lot of the flowers in the head of the skeleton. So I think we're going to finish up all of the flowers in the head and the leaves around the head. And we'll do a little bit in the face, but we won't finish the face this time. That'll be a part 3. And then I think after that we'll be doing the background. So let's get started. The first flower I'm going to be doing is this flower right here. And the colors that I'll be using for this one will be Wisteria. And I'm using my Holbein pencils again. The 50 pastel set. And this color is Wisteria OP430. Sea Fog OP476, and Lilac OP422. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Let me get this down here where you can see this flower right here is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to zoom in just a little more. There. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm just going to start with the darkest color, which is the Wisteria OP430. And I'm going to do this flower probably on camera, and then the other flowers are the same technique. This flower and this flower are the same technique. So I will be just speeding up the recording and you will see the end process of that. So you want to start where it's, actually I think I'm getting a light glare. Let me fix my light. Okay, so that's better. So I'm going to start up in the middle where the line is, and I'm going to put the darkest color there. And you just want to go hard pressure. I'm going to turn my book a little bit. And you just want to go hard pressure all the way out, and then you're going to let up on the pressure as you get out to the middle. And then you're going to do the same thing again around the edge of the flower. Hard pressure, then light pressure as you go out. And you're going to leave a little gap there. You see where there's a little gap? It's like a white gap. We're going to put a color there. So I'm going to do that all the way around. Hard pressure and then light pressure as I go out. And the same on the end of it. It's really simple once you get the hang of being able to do the light pressure and hard pressure. And like I said, if you have to lift up on your pencil to do light pressure, that's fine. You don't have to go hard pressure to light pressure all in one stroke. You can just lift up on your pencil. For instance, I'll show you. I'm going to go hard pressure first, and then when I finish doing hard pressure is when I'm going to lift up on my pencil. And right here, I'm going to lift up on my pencil and go back down and color lightly. So if it's hard for you to do it in one stroke, you can do it that way. Just remember that you always want to color it lightly when you go back down. And we're just going to leave a little gap there, just like we did on the other one. Leave a little gap. And I'm just going to darken that up a little bit just so you can make sure you can see it. So sometimes you have to put extra layers on it just so it's darker. And I'm just darkening it up some. And so now I'm going to go to the next petal. And I'm going to turn my book a little bit. And if you need to turn your book to get in a good position, that's fine also. Don't try to do an awkward position. Go ahead and turn your book. I just don't like to turn my book when I'm on camera because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, but I can't do it in an awkward position. So I have to turn my book. And I'm just going to leave a white gap there again, like I did the other ones. Now we're going to do this petal. And I'm going to do the outside. And I'm just going to let up on that pressure. And I'm hoping you guys can see it. And so now, I think this is a petal right here too, so I need to do that one. Even though the line is missing in the drawing. There. So now I'm going to add the second color, and that color is going to be the lilac. And that's just going to go right in between where this white part is. And so you just want to lay that color right in between there. Just like that. So I'm just going to go around the white part and put this where that white part is. And then on the outside of the flower, I'm just going to put the dark purple again, which is the wisteria. I'm just going to color that in dark purple. And leave a little bit by the edge to leave for the pink part. So you're just going to go hard pressure, then light pressure as you go out. So you're going to kind of do the same thing all the way around. And don't forget this one right here. And this one. And so now I'm going to add that pink part after I just darken this up a little bit. So now where that white part is where I'm adding the pink part, which is the sea fog. Or no, not the sea fog. Is it supposed to be the sea fog? I'm sorry, which is the lilac, not sea fog. And I'm just going to put that where all the white spots are. Now I'm going to take my colorless blender and blend it all together. And we're just going to blend those colors together. Burnish it together. Make sure you got all those white spots out. And so the next two flowers is just like that. It's just like that one. And so I'll do those now. Okay, this is how it looks with the blue, with the purple added. I've done the purple, the other purple flowers on here, so this is how it looks. And remember, it's just the same step as that flower that we just did. So now I'm going to move on to the green leaves, and I'm going to be doing this one and this one, and this one, and this one. So these 3, 4, 5 of the green ones is all going to have the same technique. So I'm going to do these two in real time for you. Well, this one in real time for you. But then we'll speed it up a little bit. So the first color I'm using is the Cobalt Green, which is OP225. lettuce green, which is OP222, and rose gray, which is OP495. And I'm going to start off with the darkest color that I have, which is the Cobalt Green OP225. And I'm just going to, actually I need to zoom in a little bit, so let me zoom in first. So I'm going to zoom in. So now we're zoomed in a little more. And I'm focusing on this leaf right here. Okay, I think you guys can see that. So I'm going to start off with the Cobalt Green. And the first thing I'm going to do is right around this, the stem right here in the middle, I'm going to put this color, and I'm just going to lay it like right around there, all the way around the flower. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to put it, you don't want to touch the stem part, because the stem part we're going to do in a different color. So you just want to get it all around the stem, the spine of the flower. I guess that's what it is. And actually, to make it a little bit easier, I might just go ahead and lay that spine down first. So I'm going to switch and go to rose gray. And I'm going to lay the spine down first. And I'm just going to go over the spine color with this color. And I'm just tracing over that kind of with this color. And I'm just tracing over it. I wonder if I use a different color. I'm tracing over it. I'm tracing over the rest of that stem or spine. And you want it to be kind of thick, so you want to go outside of just the line. You want to make sure it's visible. Because this is how you're going to make the flower pop, by tracing that spine with this color. And so now I'm going to go back to the green color, now that I've traced it with that color. I'm going to go back to the green color, and I'm just going to add the green color inside of the spine. And you want to take it, basically you want medium pressure, and you kind of want to go all the way out into the end of those lines, and then you want to let up on the pressure once you get out to the end of the lines. You don't want to take it all the way to the edge. You want to stop right there. So you let up on the pressure as you get towards the end of the flower. And you just go ahead and color that, lay that color right on in there. And so we're going to introduce another color around the edge of the flower. We're going to put a different color. And this just gives the flower more dimension and more color that makes it pop off the page and looks interesting, more interesting looking than just green. And this is how you make your leaves look more interesting than just having a green leaf. You can add colors to it. And so I'm saving an open white spot for the other color that we're going to introduce. And so now I'm going to take the other color, which is lighter green, and I'm just going to lay that light green, which is lettuce green, OP222, right along the edge of the flower where it's white. And this green matches this green right here, so it's making this flower go along with this flower. It's making a combination color palette of making it more cohesive, and the pink in the green leaf is matching with the pink flower next to it. So we have a couple of things going on in this green leaf that makes the whole picture a whole. And that's how you do your color palettes. When you're picking a color palette, you want things to look cohesive and look like it's together. You don't want your pictures, like I don't want my leaf looking like it's separate from the picture. I want it to look like it goes along with the picture, like it belongs, like it's in the same family. Like when you're picking your clothes out for the day, you kind of make your clothes match. You might get a red shirt and your shirt might match your shoes, which usually that's how I do it. My shirt usually matches my shoes. I'll have a red shirt on and I'll have some shoes with red in it. Then I'll have maybe some black pants and maybe the shirt has a little bit of black in it. That's how you make things look like they go together. And you do the same thing when you color. It's like, and it's like putting on makeup also. If you wear makeup, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It makes things look like it's together. So for instance, my hair is purple. So when I wear makeup, sometimes I use purple eyeshadow. And so I'm just going to do the same thing to this one that we did to that one. I'm going to color the spine of it. Rose Gray 495. And we're just going to go over that spine. I'm going to take the next color, which is the Cobalt Green, and lay the color right along the inside of there, along the spine. So you go hard pressure until you go out to the edge and then you stop. You want to let up on the pressure as you go out. So it's not that hard. It's not. Coloring isn't difficult. Once you see someone else do it and see exactly what they do, it looks difficult when you first look at it. Like, wow, how did they do that? But once you see the steps, it's not that difficult. I think anybody could do it. You just have to know what steps to take. And that's the whole point of me making videos, because people don't know what steps to take, so they don't know how to go about tackling a page when they see it. And that's what frustrates people, when they don't know what to do first and what to do second and what to do third. So they give up. But that's what my videos are here for, and that's why I'm here. is to show you the steps and make it easier and explain it to you in a way that you can do it yourself when you're at home coloring yourself. And you'll see that, hey, this is not really that hard. I'm going to the next color, which is lettuce green. And I'm just going to put that on the outside of the flower, right along the outside here. And you're just going to take that color right up into the other color that you laid down, into that blue. You're going to take that color right up into that blue. But not all the way up, just up to the edge of the blue. And that green, see how that green makes that flower just pop? That pink spine and the green edge really makes that flower just speak to you. It really pops off the page. And so I'm going to do the next one like that over here and over here. But I'm going to speed up the video here and here. But I'm going to speed up the video right now. So. Once I've done the leaves, and I finished the leaves, if you can see that. Here, here, and here, and here, and here. And so now I'm going to move on to the other leaves, which is this leaf, this leaf, these leaves, and the leaves on his face. And some of them I'm going to do in real time, and some of them I'm going to do sped up because there's a lot of leaves throughout his face. So you won't need to see everyone because it'll be the same process, but I'll show you how the process goes first up here. So the colors that I'll be using is, the first color is leaf green, OP291. Olive yellow, OP198. And chartreuse green, OP240. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the leaf more clearly. And we're working on this leaf right here. And so now we're zoomed in and we're working on this leaf. So I'm going to start off with the dark green, and I'm going to start off with the dark green, leaf green OP291. And I'm just going to pull it down some so you can see it. I'm going with this leaf right here, and I just want to start at the bottom with the green, and then we're going to go up and graduate the colors as we go up. So we're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to go hard pressure. And you're going to go up about midway. And as you go up, you're going to lighten up on the pressure. There. So I'm going to do another layer at the bottom so it can be darker. And now I'm going to move to the next color. And the next color is going to be the olive yellow OP 198. And I'm going to start off right where I left off at. And I'm hoping you can see this pretty well. Right where I left off at, I lightened up right up here. I'm going to start right there where the second color is. And I'm going to go hard pressure with these lines in it. It's kind of easy to see where you need to let up on the pressure and where you need to do hard pressure. So basically the leaf, as we go up, is going to change color. So now I'm going to go light pressure and add the next color. And the next color is going to be the Chartreuse Green OP240. And this one you can actually start at the top and go down into the other color, or you can just start where you left off, where it's light, and hard pressure, and you want to go all the way up to the top of that leaf. And so that's how you do when you want to do a graduation of colors. When you do leaves, my suggestion is always do more than one color, because leaves are never just green, one green. They're usually a couple of greens. And I look like I missed a spot down here, so I'm just going to add that little corner in. But it's usually a couple of greens, and a leaf usually is never just one green. And so I'm going to do the second leaf over here by it, just like I did that one. And I'm going to start out with my darkest green. Which is my leaf green. And I'm going to start on at the bottom with hard pressure, then I'm going to let up on the pressure as I go up. And you may want to put a second layer on it just so it's dark enough. Then I'm going to go to my second color again, which is the olive yellow OP198. And right where I left off is where I'm going to add that color in. And I'm just going to go up, and then I'm going to lift up on the pressure so I can add the next color. Now I'm going to add the next color, which is the Chartreuse Green OP240, right where I left off. And because this leaf is turned a little bit, I'm going to make sure I add that up in the top of the leaf. And you can go down into the other color with this color because it's a lighter color, so it just helps the graduation of colors look a little more seamless. And now I'm going to blend both of those out with my Colorless Blender, and I want to start kind of where it's, you can start dark to light or light to dark. Usually I go light to dark because I don't want the colors to get into the light. I want the light to stay light. So that's the way I'll do it. I'll start with the light and then I'll go down into the dark, just so I don't muddy up the light color. And I'm going to do the other one just like that. From light to dark. Now I'm going to do the flower next to it. And I'm going to do the flower next to it a different way. Same colors, but just a different way. But before I do that one, I think I'm going to do the one on the face first, because the one on the face is just like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one first, those two first. And that way you can see how that is. And I'm probably going to go ahead and speed up the tape here. But these two are just like this process up here. So I'm going to use the same colors. And I'm going to speed up the tape now. So I've added the colors to the face, and I've done the green ones like this one and this one up here. I also added a little bit of green to the flower down here, and I'm going to show you that also in the flower right here. But first I want to do this one right here to just show you how that goes, and then we'll move on to the other ones over here. So I'm gonna do these ones, and I'm just using two colors on this one, which is the leaf green OP291 and the chartreuse green OP240. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that how that goes. So we're zoomed in, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did this one. And I'm going to use the two colors that I told you about. And I'm going to start off with my darkest one, which is the leaf green OP291. And we're just going to go over this little line, and because it's so small, we're not going to really add too many. We're only going to add two colors, and that's why we're using just two colors. But you're just going to take it all the way to the end, kind of to about right there, and then you're going to add your second color, which is the chartreuse green, and you're going to put that on the tip of this stem, and that just helps it make it pop and make it look not just one color, because like I said before, leaves are always more than one color, so it's always better to use more than one color. And on the leaf part, I'm going to just start off with the dark green one, the leaf green, and I'm going to just put it at the bottom of the leaves and hard pressure, and as I go up, light pressure. And I'm going to do that to each leaf. Light pressure. You just go hard pressure, then light pressure. And this is a pretty easy technique, and this is pretty simple for the colors that I've chosen and the techniques that I've chosen are really simple for beginners to just follow along with, because there's nothing really to it. It's just a couple of steps you need to learn, and you just learn how to do your pressure, your hard and your light pressure, and you have it. And this is the light chartreuse green, and I'm just going to put that on the tip of each one of them. And see how that two-tone just makes it pop off the page instead of just doing that that leaf one color. And so now I'm going to do this side. And I'm going to speed up the camera a little bit, and because I just done that side, so I'm going to show you guys in speed up time how to do this one. And this one is the same technique as this little leaf right here. So I'm going to do that one and this one and speed up the camera. And so now I've done this other side over here to match that side. And I also done the side up here with these flowers. And it's the same technique in all of these. And I'm going to move on to the next leaf. And the next leaf is going to be this leaf here, these leaves here, and these leaves, and these little leaves on the bottom, and the leaves on the side of the face, and the leaves over here on the side of the face. And I think that'll be it with our leaves. Oh, and the leaf that's in the middle of here. But it's all using the same colors, and it's all the same techniques. But I will show you what technique I use for these ones, and the same technique I use for these ones is going to be in this one and this one and the ones on the side of the face. So I'm starting out with the same colors, which is leaf green, OP291, and we're just going to put this around the outside of the leaf. So I'll just put hard pressure and then light pressure as you get to the center. But you want to go all the way around the leaf, and you want to get the tip. And so you just basically tracing around that leaf with this color. And this is another technique when doing leaves, is tracing around it when adding another color. And so the next color, I'm going to put that color olive yellow right next to the dark green. And that's because we have more than one color in our leaf. And I'm just going around the leaf edge, and I'm adding that color. Now I'm saving the center for the lighter area, for the lighter color. So the center of the flower is, the center of the leaf is going to be with the chartreuse green. And I'm just going to lay that right in the middle of that leaf. And I'm going to bring that out some but not to the dark part, just a little bit outwards. And so I'm going to go over that again with another layer around the edge because it doesn't seem to be that dark. So I want it to be a little more darker, and add another layer. Then when you make it darker around the edge, it gives it some dimension. Instead of the flower looking flat, it kind of looks like it's has some dimension and jumping off of the page. So now that I have that darker, I'm going to go ahead and blend it out. And I'm going to start in the middle because I don't want my middle to be muddied up with the other colors, and work my way out. So you just kind of blend in steps. So I'm going to do the other leaf the same way, and I'm going to do it on camera just so you guys can see it. And this is my dark green, leaf green. And I'm going to trace around the outside of that leaf and put it on the tip. And then I'm going to add the next color, which is the olive yellow, and I'm going to place that right along the side of the last color. And I'm going to leave an open space for the lighter color. I think I forgot some dark green up here. So I just want to put a little bit of dark green right up in here. I didn't have lunch and I'm hungry, so I'm trying to decide what it is that I want to eat for dinner. And now I'm going to take the light green, which is the chartreuse green, and lay that right in the middle of that leaf. And you can bring that out a little bit, but don't take it all the way to the dark green, just a little bit, just to blend it. And you want to go in tiny circles when you're blending it in. Now I'm going to take my blender and blend it out, and I'm going to start in the middle where the lighter part is and work my way out. There. And so now I'm going to do this leaf up here, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. But this leaf is going to be a little different. It's going to have the outside of the leaf is going to be light and the inside is going to be dark. But I think before I do that, let me move on to this one because this one is the same as this one. So I'll go ahead and do those ones and speed it up because those are the same techniques. So I'll speed it up from here. So this is how it looks after I've done the leaves. And so I've done all the leaves here and here and here and here and here. So the next leaf we need to do is the leaf over here, and I'll show you guys how to do that one. And the reason I slowed down the video is because this one is done in a different sequence but with the same color. And so let me zoom in closer so you can see. Great, now you're zoomed in. And the sequence is just basically, we're going to go on this one. We went, for example, on these ones, we went dark on the outside and light in the middle. But on this one, we're going to go light on the outside and dark in the middle. So we're going to start off with our darkest color. And I'm using the same 3 colors, leaf green. And this is just a technique to show like how you can make your leaves different. And I'll show you at the end how each leaf looks different, but I'm using the same color combo for the leaves, but they all look different. And it just gives it some randomness, because when you do a picture, you kind of want to, you don't want everything to look exactly the same. You kind of want some randomness to your coloring. And so I'm just going to start in the middle, and I'm going to lay the color down, and then I'm going to go out. So I'm going to start with hard pressure and then lighten it up as I go out. And then I'm going to go to my next color, which is the olive yellow, OP198. And I'm just going to go around that dark color all the way around the leaf, but I'm leaving a white part so that I can put the lightest color there. And so you want to go hard pressure and then light pressure as you go out. Now the white part that I left around the edge of the flower is where I'm going to add the light yellow. And that is the chartreuse green, OP240. And I'm just going to add the light green around the outside of the leaf. And you see how that leaf looks totally different from the other leaf? Now I'm just going to add another layer so I can get the dark part in the middle darker. There. And this part a little darker. So it just adds a different look to the leaf. And the other leaves are different. So see how that leaf looks totally different from the leaf down here. But we're using the same colors, and it looks different from the leaf here. Here we're going from dark out, and this leaf looks different from that leaf. But here we're going dark outside and light inside. So that's how you switch it up and make your leaves look different. And this one we're going dark in the middle and light on the outside. So I think on this one I'll start with the light on the outside just to make it a little easier, because it feels easier when you put the edge around it first. And I'm just going to put the edge around the leaf with the lighter color, and that was chartreuse. And I'm not sure if you can see that on camera. It's so light. I'm hoping you guys can see it. And then I'm going to go in with the medium tone, which is olive yellow. And I'm just going to go around where I put the light yellow, the light green. And then now I'm going to add the dark green to the center. And you want the dark green to kind of be along this spine right here in the middle. And so I'm adding that in. And so I'm going to go to the next one and do that all over again. But first I'm going to blend it out. So I'm blending from light to dark on both of the flowers. And I just have 2 more to do. And since these ones are so small, it's hard to get all three colors in there, but if you be careful, you can do it. You just don't put too much of each color, just put a little bit of each color. The main color you want there is the lighter color because that's what's this leaf is helping. That's what's helping the leaf pop on this one and making it look so much different than the other leaves. Is by adding that light yellow around the edge. And so I'm just going to darken that up a little more. There. So now I'm going to blend the colors out. And it's important to start from light to dark because you don't want to muddy up that light again. You want to keep that light like it is. And if you go from dark to light, you're going to smear your colors into the light. I mean, if you go from light to dark, you're going to smear your colors. I mean, dark to light. I keep tongue twisting myself. So now that we've done those leaves, I've noticed that we forgot a purple flower. And so the purple flower that we forgot is the little one up here, but that's not the one I'm worried about. I'm worried about the one that's on the face. And so before I move on to the next leaf, let's complete these flowers that's on the face. I'm going to start out with this flower, and I'm probably going to do 2 on camera and 2 sped up and stuff. So that way you'll see how I do it in real time. So this is how our page looks zoomed out, and we've done the flowers, and we've made, the leaf, and we've made the leaf look different from the other leaves. So I've shown you like 3 ways to do leaves so far, but I'm now going to move on to the flower in the face, which are these flowers in the face. And I don't know if we're going to get to these ones, but we'll see. So I'm going to zoom in right now so you guys can see that flower. Okay, now we're zoomed in. And I'm going to go to this flower first. And the palette that we're using is Wisteria OP430, Lilac OP422, and Cherry Blossom OP011. Now, every technique that I've done so far is a simple technique for beginners to be able to color along, or to be able to color in your own coloring books on your own time. So I'm hoping that these techniques are helping you guys out. So what I want to do first on this flower is I want to start at the tip, and I want to go in with heavy pressure, and then I'm going to go light pressure as I go out, and I'm going to introduce another color. So I'm going to take this out to like the dots, and at the dots I'm going to lift up on the pencil and go light color. And then I'm going to introduce my next color, which is the lilac. And right there where I let up on the pressure is where I'm going to start my lilac. And I'm going to go in with heavy pressure and take that all the way to the end of the petal. And I'm going to do that to each petal. Heavy pressure until I get out to the dot. Lift up on the pressure and then add your next color, which is the lilac. Heavy pressure all the way out. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more color to this one. The same thing with the next petal. And I'm just going to go around and do the rest of them. And you're going to go out to the dots. And when you get to the end of those dots, you want to let up on the pressure. I'm going to introduce my next color again, which is the lilac. And right where I let up on the pressure is where I add that lilac. And you always can go up into the other color with the lightest color, just to blend it out some. And I'm going to do that to the next petals. So I'm so happy today is Friday. I have a lot of things I want to do on my channel this weekend that I need to get done for you guys. I want to upload my swatch sheet for the Arteza pencils for you guys this weekend. Hopefully, if I get enough time, that's going to be on my Facebook group. And so in the middle, I'm going to add the lilac color, and I'm just going to add that right around where those dots are. And you just want to go right along the edge, and you want to go hard pressure and then lighten up as you get to the center a little. And then as you get to the center, you want to add the next color, which is going to be the cherry blossom, OP011. So the reason for me downloading the swatch sheet for you guys is because I want you guys to see how to do swatching. And I figured if I download the swatch sheet, it'll help you if you have any other pencils to go ahead and be able to learn how to swatch your pencils. And I think a lot of you, I have recommended the Artezas to you, so I feel those are the best pencils to download a swatch sheet. Eventually, I want to download a swatch sheet of the Prismacolors too, because those are another popular one that everyone uses. And so that's how our flower turns out. And so I'm going to do the same thing with the other flower and these two flowers right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this flower and speed it up. palette looks zoomed out, and I've done all the flowers, and I've also done the flower, the little bitty flower at the top. It's the same as these flowers down here, so you'll be able to do that. Now we're going to do the flowers in the eyes and around the eyes. And I think this is going to be it for part 2, and then we'll start part 3 maybe. We'll see how long this takes. So the palette that I'm using for on the eyes are Wisteria OP430, Lilac 422, and Smalt Blue OP339. And I'm just going to start out by zooming in first so you can see it more close. Now we're zoomed in, and the colors that I picked, I already showed you the colors that I picked, but I'm going to start with the darkest color, and that's my Wisteria OP430. And we're just going to start at the inside of the petal with this color, and we're going to go in with hard pressure and come out and let up on the pressure as we come out. And then as we come out, we're going to add our next color. And so our next color is going to be the Lilac 422. And we're going to take this all the way out, except we're going to leave some white. Or we're not going to take it all the way to the tip. We're just going to leave a little bit of white. And the reason we're doing that is it makes it pop a little more when you leave a little white on your paper. This was the hardest step I had to learn. And I know it sounds simple, just leave some white, right? Well, for me, it wasn't simple when I first started out leaving white. And see how I left a little bit of white right there, and see how that kind of like just pops off the page because there's a little bit of white. You'll notice it when I finish coloring the inside of the flower. But for me, I want to color everything. I don't want to leave white. So that was really hard for me to learn, and I still have an issue with this. Like, once you have a bad habit, and that's another thing, that's why I like teaching this, because once you have a bad habit, it's hard to stop. You're so used to doing it that way, and instead of doing it another way. And so because I was so used to coloring everything and not leaving any white, I have a bad habit of being able to do that. And my pages could pop more better if I would just break that bad habit. So I'm starting to learn to break that bad habit. But another thing that the white does is that it also makes the transition look more cleaner. See how that transition just, and I haven't even blended that yet, but it looks really nice. It looks like from white to light to purple, and if you just leave the tips white, it does that to it. So I'm going to do that all the way around. And I'm just going to add this dark part all the way around first. But yeah, so don't be afraid to try new things. But hopefully you don't have that bad habit like I did. Because I didn't have anyone teaching me anything. I just kind of learned by looking at other people's work. I mean, I watched a little YouTube videos here and there, but I mostly learned by looking at other people's work. And by the time I figured out, oh, leave some white, it was a little too late. I was kind of already in my coloring groove and doing my coloring the way that I like to do it, which is nothing wrong with doing it the way you like to do it. Don't get me wrong. I think everyone has to come up with their own coloring style. You will not do everything exactly the way I show you. You will eventually become comfortable with the steps and you will start to create your own style. And that's what happens. And that's a good thing because some colorists, like I can look at their pictures and I can tell you who colored that by just looking at their style of coloring. And eventually you guys will see that when you see me teaching my style of coloring. You'll see and you'll be able to know that Colorful Tamiko did that. So, but I don't want you guys to feel like you have to stick. Coloring is not like there's no hardcore rules. There's, you know, techniques, but there's no hardcore rules, especially with pencils. Pencils are the reason why I use pencils, and I'm going to the next color, is the Lilac. The reason I use pencils is because they're so forgiving. Unlike pens and gel pens and markers, they're not as forgiving as pencils are. If you make a mistake with a pencil, you can erase it, or you can go over with another color, and you can layer, and you can, so they're really forgiving. If you mess up with markers, that's basically kind of it. Like there's really not much you can do. There's little tricks you can do for markers also, but there's not many that you can do to fix the page if you messed up. And that's why I love pencils, and that's why I use pencils more than anything. So you'll see me using pencils on my channel more than any other media. Don't get me wrong, I like the other medias, but pencils are my favorite because you can do so much with them. I mean, not only can you do so much with them, but you can make new colors by layering and adding. I mean, you can get so many more colors out of your set than just the colors that come with it. So I want you guys to be creative when you're coloring, because that's how you get your own coloring style, is by being creative. Once you have the steps down, don't be afraid to be creative. So see, I left white around the whole edge, and you see how that looks? It looks really like that purple is popping now because of the white that I left along the edge. Now, this one, I'm just going to do one color. No, actually, I'm still going to do two colors, but I'm going to start out with the dark on the outside and the light in the inside. And that just gives it some opposite attraction. Because I did the dark on the inside and light on the outside here, it's best to do the dark on the outside and the light in the inside on the outer petal. So I'll just put the darker along the edges, and I'm not leaving any edges. I'm only leaving edges at the first petals. So this one is going to be filled completely. And I'm just adding a touch of purple to the edges. It's really tiny. And I know another thing that people have a hard time with as beginners is staying in the lines when it's really small. I wouldn't worry about it so much. Going out of the lines kind of sometimes make pictures look unique. Nothing is perfect in art. And when you see art, it's not really, it's never perfect. It doesn't always, this side doesn't always look the same as this side. And if it looked exactly the same, it wouldn't be art. And if you were coloring like a house, for instance, yeah, the house has the same color on each side, but there's always something different on one side. it always looks a little bit different when you're painting or coloring something. So that gives it its uniqueness. So don't worry about that too much. And if you go outside the lines, especially on something small, I have my Mono Zero eraser by Tombow, and it's very little, and it gets those little bitty spaces to erase. I need to clean mine off a little bit, but I'm just cleaning it off some so I don't smear anything, but now it's clean. So if you make a mistake, for instance, and go outside the lines, this can hit that mistake without erasing everything. Now your bigger erasers should be for a bigger area, and I have my electric one. You have to be careful with your electric eraser because it can peel up the paper too much and then take the tooth away from the paper. And if you take the tooth off of your paper, or if you scrape your paper with this little steel thing, it's going to mess your paper up, and then it's going to be hard to lay down your colors. So be careful with the electric one. They also have regular ones, regular erasers. I don't have mine here now, but there's all type of erasers on the market. My favorite eraser is the mono eraser because it gets into those little bitty areas, and that's why it's called Mono Zero, because it's so little, and it's ultra fine. It's 2.3 millimeters. So, and it's by Tombow. If you're looking for it, it's on Amazon. Anyhow, now I'm going to put the lighter color into this little area, and that is the lilac, and we're just going to color that right on in. And you see how we went opposite from dark to light on these petals than we did the other ones. And I'm just going to color those right on in. Make sure I don't color the wrong one. So when doing flowers, remember that leaving your white space will make your flower pop. And now you see how that looks. It looks really nice. And it looks like that flower is just really standing out. And the background, because I did the background dark to light, it's really making those first petals, these petals right here, stand out and pop. And I think the color that I'm going to do the inside of this one is pink, or maybe I'll do a gel pen of it. So I'm just going to leave it empty for now. And the outside is going to be this blue color that I have in the palette, and that's the smart blue. And so I'm just going to do just basically color around the rim of the flower. And I'm going to go dark, and then I'm going to do light. And when I say dark then light, you just do light pressure. And then I'm going to go dark again, and I'm going to just keep doing that. So if I go, I'm using one color, but I'm just varying the pressure. And if you have to, you can just layer up. And what that's doing is making like a ring around. It's making like a dark, light ring. So now I'm going light again. And I'm going really light. But I'm using the same color. And now I'm going to go dark again. See how I went really light right there? Now I'm going to go, and you'll see what it looks like when I finish, why I'm doing this. Then I'm going to go dark for a minute. And now I'm going to go light again. And I'm just going to keep repeating that. So here's my light. Now that I have a light ring, I'm going to go dark again. Now I'm going to go dark again. And that's just with heavy pressure. And so since I have two darks right here, I'm just going to go color that in a light pressure. And I'm just going to color that in light. So you see how I have dark, light, dark, light, dark, light? It's just like putting a ring around the colors. And so now I'm going to blend that in. And I'm going to be sure to blend the light part in. You just want to go all the way around and just heavy pressure and blend it in. And it actually, the light part actually looks like a light gray, but it's still the same color. And that's just how you get a different, make it look different with one color, by going light pressure, heavy pressure, light pressure, heavy pressure. There. And so I'm going to blend that out. And I don't know if you can see it really good on camera, but there's a dark, there's a light, and there's two lights and a couple darks. And it just looks like a belt, like a, what do I want to call it? I don't know what to call it. Just like a ring, kind of, with different texture look. I guess that's what I want to call it. Not sure. But you get what I'm saying. And I'm just darkening the dark parts up, just to make sure it's darker. Okay, so now that we've done that area, I'm going to go outside and do this one. And I'm going to use the dark color again. I'm going to use the wisteria, and I'm going to use the lilac. And the wisteria, I'm going to, where the little curves are, I'm going to put the wisteria. Just where the little curves are. And then the other color I'll add in. So I'll start off with hard pressure here. Kind of like how we did here itself. I only did one color. So I'm going to start off with hard pressure here, and you're going to lighten up as you go out. And it's so small, so I hope you guys can see it. But I'm only putting it in the hump area. I'm not going all the way out. Just putting it around the hump area. So instead of coloring the whole thing in with one color, it just gives it that pop again, and it just makes it look different than just doing one color. You kind of always want to, if you're coloring an object or something, you always kind of want to use more than one color, because then your color looks flat. It just looks flat if you color with one color. If you don't color with one color, do something like this. Go light, dark, and light, dark. And that way it doesn't look as flat. And it'll pop out. And so I'm still just adding it to the humps. And now I'm going to show you how to do this so I can do some of it and sped up. And so now I'm just going to add in the lilac, which is a lighter purple. And I'm just going to add that in between where the white spots are. So you see how there's white spots? I'm not going to leave those white. I'm just going to add in the wisteria. In the lilac. And it just gives it a little pop because it's a different color. They're almost similar, but they're not too similar. They're both in the purple family, but they're not the same type of purple. So you just want to do that all the way around the ring. And so now I'm going to speed up the camera and do the rest of the ring. Color to around the center, and the color that I'm using for that is Sea Fog OP476, and it just basically colors the inside. There's nothing fancy to it. I'm just laying that color down in the inside, and I'm going to speed up the video and get the other flower done right now. This is how it looks with both of the eyes done, and all of the things that we did up here, which was the leaves and the leaves on the side of the face, the flowers on the side of the face and the stems. So we're almost there, and we're almost done with our skeleton face. I think this is going to be the end of part 2. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload more videos. Thank you for joining me, and I think next time we'll be doing the rest of the things on the face and these leaves up here, and we might start on our background. So that might be the end of this. We'll see how long that takes us. But thanks again for joining. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And thank you for joining me. Have a colorful day. Bye.